Today I'm going to be showing you my build for the new popular playstyle, Bloody. Now, some people were playing this before, but like when I started playing the game, it wasn't as big as it is now, not by far. But anyway, right now I have 5 pieces of unyielding armor. I have the mask, but my chest piece is not unyielding. So these numbers could all be 3 higher right now with the Nerd Rage going with the build I am going to show you now. It's also worth noting before I get to that, just really quickly, I highly recommend getting every mutation before putting starch genes on, and getting the carnivore mutation over the herbivore mutation. Herbivore won't really benefit you or negatively impact you either or. So, on to the perks. We have Barbarian, which is every point of strength adds 4% damage resistance. Now, we don't have a lot of strength, but as you could see right there, it was 28 or 22 or whatever it was, I forget. But we're getting 4 damage resistance for whatever that times whatever that number is. When our Nerd Rage is active, and it's very easy to set, actually at the end of the video I'll show you how to get exactly into Nerd Rage every time, get 19% health. You get that bonus. So let's go on to Perception, which is Tank Killer. Your rifles ignore 36% armor and have 9% chance to stagger. Ignoring armor is great, doesn't matter whether you're using automatics or not. Just you do so much sneak damage. The automatics in this class is very beast. So I'm running commando, but if you weren't running commando and you wanted to run a more of a sneak build with single action, you could easily switch that over. It's not limited. You can use the combat assault rifle, combat shotgun, and some of the energy weapons, as long as it can be turned into automatic, pretty much. No Gatling guns though, no two-handed weapons. Next up we have Ironclad, gain 50 damage resistance and energy resistance when not wearing power armor. We do want to be able to take a couple of the low hits and not die. So, because we're at so low health, we should have defense. We also do not want our limbs damaged at all, because if we get halted, then we're dead. Can't jump back then. The greater your rads, since we're using rads to force us into 19% health anyway, we have the greater your rads, the greater your strength. So that's plus 5 strength right there. Lone Wanderer, now these two can be swapped out. If you're running an explosive build, I would suggest putting on Demolitionist and maybe making Nerd Rage 2, or maybe not running Gun Fu and making this a 5 and this a 1. But if you're not running your explosives, then it doesn't even matter, and I would just use Lone Wanderer when you're playing solo. And when you're playing with the team, you can use Tenderizer at level 3. Mine isn't there yet, but one more level I can put it to that. And you also have Strange in Numbers when you're playing with other buddy players. Or you have, there is one other that does benefit you. Yes, Bodyguards. You could also use Bodyguards for your 4 points when playing with a team. Nerd Rage is a given. Nerd Rage should be on when below 20% health. Gain 40 damage resistance, 20% damage, and 15% AP regain. The card makes a big difference. Since we're shooting in that so much anyway, for most players, Action Boy, Evasive, just gives us more damage resistance and energy resistance. We definitely want to be harder to detect. If you get the Fixer, I played with the Fixer, oh my gosh. Once you put Sneak and Escape Artist on, they literally run into you. The ghouls can run into you, and it's like a solid 2 seconds before they even get fully aggro to melee. It's ridiculous. But even without the Fixer, Sneak and escape artist, you're really hard to detect from the hidden, provided you don't get detected. If you stay hidden, you can take a dude out, and then you can take another dude out. Really nice. Gung Fu, we're only using this mainly for when we kill one target with the shotgun or the rifle, so it automatically switches to a next target. It's not really for the damage boost. More so when we're in VATS, it switches targets. Dodgy, it's really niceful to avoid damage. 30% chance to avoid incoming damage with it only being taken out of our action pool. Our action pool generally, we have extra action points to spare. So not taking a hit on some of the hits, yeah, that's a definite. Bloody Mess, more damage. We do want to kill quickly. 1 shot, 2 shots, ideally, for most encounters. Serendipity, we have when below 30% health, gain a 45% chance to avoid damage. Another one to avoid damage. The negative effects of your mutation are reduced by 75%. Another must-have. And once you start building up all your mutations before you put your starch gene on, this really helps out a lot. And let me just think real quick, is there anything else that I want to add? So real quickly, I did say that I would note exactly how to get to the 19%, and I will show you now. So, okay. First off, we are going to get a little bit more in the rads. Okay, so we've got an Heavenly Wounded right here. Now what you gotta do is decide if you want to use a Radaway or a Radaway Diluted. And what you'll do is you'll put it basically to the point as low as possible, just above 20%. And then you'll heal real quick with, see what I got. I really don't have stim packs. Stim packs. Okay, so now once you got to this point, you're going to use anything that has low rads, 15 rads. So click once, click again. There it goes. Nerd Rage just activated. We are just under 20% health. Now we have our max boost with also the max amount of health that we can have. And you can even run a couple of stim packs. Now, when you get hit, you are regaining health. So you actually have to take that 20% damage quickly. And if not, you're regaining health. So the body classes can be very powerful. With this, I can even take a couple of hits from like the Scorched Beast Queen on the blast. Like if you sit there and dodge, like you can dodge and use a stim pack and not die. And like take like 2 of the blasts once you get all the way up. Anyway, that is my bloody build. I hope that helps. Oh, just real quickly to note, there is one other advantage to having 5 perk points in intelligence. Now that is the gun perk. So for your combat shotgun, you will need to either get one if you want one that is fully modified to your desire, or you're gonna have to give it to a friend, or you're gonna have to have someone come over and pay them most likely to share the perk with you. So if you were running explosives, you could use the gun nut or whatever it is whenever you want. Otherwise, you're just going to have to find one of the ways I just mentioned to modify it if you need something modified, like the assault combat shotgun. Not really sure if there are any others that need that perk offhand. Yeah, just be advised of that. I hope that helps.